We've all been there, the night before a big game or the night before a tournament, and we have 1 or 2 units left in our armies, and it's going to be a long night getting it all done and ready to play with. So the question truly is, can you paint a Space Marine tank in 2 hours? That's what I'm going to find out in today's video. Before I get stuck in, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone out there that continues to support the channel by watching all the videos, liking them, commenting, subscribing. Those things cost nothing. They make a huge difference to how many people see the videos and how quickly the channel grows. So thank you so much to everyone out there that does that. And to everyone out there who goes the extra mile and supports over on Patreon. You guys are amazing. You know all the extra benefits you get, podcasts, extra episodes on the channels, community Discord, painting competitions and all sorts. And obviously I like to give back as much as possible. So every single month I give a Patreon an awesome large scale box set. This month we are giving away the Eldritch Raiders box set, which contains all of the new Eldar models. That will be sent out to one lucky patron that will be drawn at the end of this month. So if you want to get a chance of winning this box set or winning a box set every single month, check out Patreon linked below. Okay, without further ado, let's dive in and paint this tank in 2 hours. Okay, and this is the tank I've chosen to try and paint in 2 hours. It is an old Forge World Vindicator laser destroyer tank, which I've had lying around, which I got built. I know they're out in plastic now, but I've had the original one, so I thought I'd put it together and add it to my Templars. And this video is very kindly sponsored by Grey Tide Studio, which is the perfect opportunity for me to use all of their awesome Pilgrim bits to add all the Black Templar symbols on the doors, top hatch. The rear access hatch has a huge, big, awesome Templar door. A little bit hard to see in this green resin, but you'll see it a little bit better as we go through, and even when it's sprayed black in a minute. I also took all of the big flaming kind of exhaust ports that usually go in the back of the Dreadnoughts, and I put them out of the top of this thing just because I thought it would just look really cool as this menacing kind of on fire tank coming down the middle of a city, firing off laser destroyer rounds and absolutely decimating enemy tanks. So a big thank you to Grey Tide Studio. If you want to check out all their bits for yourself, check them out, linked in the description below. It'll take you to their My Mini factory where you can check out all their different bits and pieces they do. They do stuff for Ultramarines, Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Black Templars. They do so many cool sets, and their Space Wolf stuff is unbelievable. So do make sure you go check them out. Okay, I gave the whole model a very nice coat of matte black, and then I got some Corvus black through my airbrush. You don't have to airbrush this step on. You can just give it a quick overbrush if you want to. But I have the airbrush, so I'm going to do the first 2 steps as quickly as I can with this to save myself a little bit of time. If you don't have one, don't worry. It's only literally this step and the next step that's done with this. It doesn't make a huge difference towards the end result, I don't think. I'd say if you left out these 2 steps, it'd be about 90% the same as my one. I added a little bit of Skaven Bite Dinge into that mix in the kind of the reservoir on the airbrush, gave it a mix just so it's a little bit brighter, and then I went over it again, just catching the very kind of raised and higher areas, just add a little bit more definition to that black. And after that, it's straight on to nothing but brushwork. This step only took maybe 5 minutes to do, if that. So Zandri dust was used, and I just blacked in those 4 traditional panels that exist on Rhino chassis vehicles, those inset panels, which are great for adding an extra color into your tanks. If this was going to be a standard Black Templar kind of style, then I would have done those side doors all in this bone color as well, leaving the cross black. But I reckon a tank as venerable and as revered as a laser destroyer tank being used in the 41st millennium definitely belongs with the more elite elements of my Black Templar force. So I'm going to have this seconded to my sword brethren. Therefore, it is going to have a black kind of backdrop, and all the crosses on it are going to be red. So my Fist on Red came out, and I blocked in all those crosses. And thanks to these doors and top hatch and stuff, it meant I had a lot of extra crosses to paint in and get them kind of blocked in with this red. It also has quite a large kind of like big shield protecting the gun, and I decided to break out my red and do it in that as well, just to help me break up all of the black across the model. Okay, now it's time for the metallics, so I brought out my lead belcher, and then obviously you just kind of examine the model and find out which bits you want to be silver. So obviously it's got some extra hanging chains and details like that. There will be another lead belcher stage going on quite soon actually, but it's going to be a dry brush, which is going to add all the kind of edge highlighting to the tank. So certain bits you want the silver to be applied that way, like the tracks. I'm not trying to block in the tracks with this solid coat now. It's just certain things need to be a little bit more solid. So all the vents, all the extra ports, the weapon system, that kind of thing is going to need a lot of solid silver. So I got that done. Then I went in to add a little bit more contrast to the color we've already done. So more gassed bone. I'm going to use this to basically put a mid-tone down on the those extra side panels. Just a quick and easy thing. I like to do my Black Templar bits that are supposed to be white in a bone. I think the black and bone sits together really, really nice. I think the white is really stark for their shoulder pads. So I don't do it. I've been doing bone for all of them. Nobody says anything on the tabletop. It doesn't look weird. It actually looks proper. And I think it suits better. So that's just me. Maybe I'm a little bit weird, but I like it. Evil Sun Scarlet is the mid-tone for all those red sections. So I went in and gave those just a little bit of a layer to punch those colors up once again. So I'd say we're into the kind of hour mark now at this point. Obviously, we've been flying through all of these steps. Nothing crazy. And then I added a quick shade across the metallic bits that I've already done. So those chains, obviously the braziers before we put on the big kind of flaming effect. And then obviously the weapon system out of the front, that big laser destroyer cannon obviously needs to get dulled down just a little bit from the shiny chrome that it is now. Now my second favorite stage, which is this lead belcher dry brush, which as you use a large flat dry brush, you take your time, you catch all those sharp edges, and it just brings the tank to life. A tank crashing its way through a war zone, a destroyed city, or some debris or ruins, or across no man's land with all the barbed wire and stuff like that, taking small arms fire constantly. It's going to be chipped and battered and scuffed, and that's the way that I like my Black Templars to seem. And a very light dry brush across the entire hull, catching all those edges, just gives it that more worn look. It sits a lot better for me. I love it. See, it brings it to life. All that detail just starts. Every rivet looks like it's been highlighted now, but it hasn't. The dry brush just caught it as I was going. Now, time for the fire. So for this, we are just going to do a kind of 4 stages of highlighting. I've talked about this to death in other videos. I've mentioned the fact that I like doing my fire backwards in miniature painting. I start from red, go into orange, yellow, and white. I understand that a lot of people will go the opposite way because that's how fire actually is, starting with the core being as white as possible and then working your way out to red and black. But I prefer how this looks on miniatures, so you don't need to comment and tell me that I'm wrong with the fire. You can tell me you like the fire that I do. That's fine. You can comment that all you want. But if you're going to tell me that I did the fire backwards, then clearly you haven't watched the video to this point. I know. It's quick and easy, and it's dirty, and it looks really cool. So this is the yellow stage after the orange, and then a very light one of white at the very end. Really sets those flames off, and it really just elevated the whole tank. It's a really nice focal point when you're pushing this thing across the table, and you see the 4 kind of fires blooming out from the top of the tank. You know the Templars are on their way, and you know you're in danger. Obviously, after the silver dry brush, certain parts of the tank didn't need to be would have any silver scuffing. So anything that wasn't supposed to have that. The candles, the skulls, all the parchment, they're not metallic. They're not going to have silver scratches. So I went back over them with that mid-tone of the bone just to tidy them up and make them look neat and tidy. I also missed these 2 candles on the back when I was doing them earlier. So I went in and sorted those out now. I went in and did little hatches. So I always like doing these hatches. A little bit of a mid-tone green, then I went straight up to a bright moot green in the kind of top corners, little dot of white. It's a very simple trick, but it really just makes them look awesome. Usually I would varnish them then, like a nice bright hard coat shiny varnish, but I'm going to be varnishing this whole model with like a satin varnish later on, which will obviously just take the sheen off these windows. So I'll have to wait till the very end to add an extra gloss varnish onto them. And here's the dot of whites going on. You can see how cool those lenses look. Absolutely no time to do. Just a really nice little detail. I'd say it took 5 minutes to do those windows, and it was definitely worth it. Now on to my favorite step, because obviously Black Templars in my mind are quite dark. They're all just black. The Great Tide Studio bits really do help elevate it, but not enough for me. I want it to be a little bit more colorful, which is a weird thing to say for an army that's mostly black. So I love weathering powder. Like I said, this thing is trundling across a war zone. The amount of debris that's being shot up into the air from all the munitions and artillery strikes going off, that's going to be landing down around these tanks. All the tracks are going to be filthy and dirty and dusty. So I like doing that. I love adding the texture paste onto it, not texture paste, the weathering powder onto it. All those nooks and crannies where any dirt and debris would fill up the air filters on the side there. and making sure to get a nice coat on the tracks, along the bottoms. The dozer blade is going to get a solid coat, quite a lot. So this is the amount that I put on. I know it's screaming too much right now. I still think it looks awesome, but I hit it with that Minotaur varnish now. It will dull it all back, secure it in place, and we are left with my finished 2-hour paint job on my Vindicator Laser Destroyer. Now, the true question is, did it only take 2 hours? No, it took a grand total of 2 hours and 36 minutes. I don't think that's bad at all for 2 hours and 36 minutes work. Please do let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.